Hello, this is the daily COVID update from Deccan Herald. I'm Suraksha.
I'm Akhil.
On the bulletin today, Karnataka records its highest number of cases so far. Of the 63 cases, 42 have a domestic travel history. The Prime Minister addresses the nation, and Karnataka prepares to receive thousands of interstate travelers. Questions are being raised about quarantine preparedness. But first, a look at the daily figures with Akhil.
There are more than 47,000 active carriers of the virus in the country. More than 23,000 patients have recovered since they first tested, and the country has registered over 2,000 COVID-related deaths so far. The ICMR has tested more than 85,000 samples for the novel coronavirus in the last 24 hours and more than 17 lakh samples since January this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation today and announced a 20 lakh crore economic package to deal with the pandemic and the effect of the lockdown. Reforms are expected in land, labor laws, and liquidity. Details are expected to be revealed by the finance minister soon. Acknowledging that our lives can't revolve around the coronavirus, the Prime Minister has said that the lockdown 4.0 will be determined by the recommendations made by the states. Details are expected by the 18th of May. Moving on, a quick look at how the states did today. In Maharashtra, Mumbai alone has reported 28 deaths. The state has released 17,000 prisoners on temporary parole to decongest prisons. Delhi reported 13 deaths, the highest for a single day, and has more than 5,000 active cases. In Kerala, 11 of the NRIs who were evacuated and 12 people who arrived from other states over the last few days tested positive, leading to a fresh spike in COVID cases in the state. The active cases in Kerala that were down to 16 last week have now doubled to 32.
63 new COVID cases have been reported from Karnataka, the highest single-day spike so far. Out of these, 42 have a domestic travel history. Contact tracing is underway for 3 new cases, and 2 cases are from a containment ward in Bidar. Bagalkot has reported the highest number of cases today, of whom 14 have a travel history to Ahmedabad. 1 has presented with influenza-like illness. Out of the 12 cases from Davangere, 6 have returned from Ahmedabad, while the other 6 are contacts of previously diagnosed patients. Dharwad has reported 9 cases, all of whom have returned from Ahmedabad. Hassan, Kolar and Yadgir have lost their green tags. In Hassan, 5 people who returned from Mumbai have tested positive. In Kolar, 2 have returned from Odisha and 1 from Chennai. Contact is being traced for 1 patient. 2 new cases in Yadgir have returned from Ahmedabad. Of the 4 new cases reported from Bengaluru, 3 are contacts of a previously diagnosed patient, and tracing of contacts is underway for 1. In Gadag, 1 patient has a travel history to Ahmedabad and 2 are contacts of a previously diagnosed patient. Dakshina Kannada has reported 2 new cases. Kalburgi and Chikbalapur have reported 1 case each. All are contacts of previously diagnosed patients. 2 cases have been reported from a containment ward in Bidar. 1 case in Mandya has a travel history to Mumbai, and contact tracing is underway for 1 case in Ballari. With this, the state is close to reporting 1,000 cases. There are 460 active cases, 11 of whom are in the ICU. 433 patients have recovered, while 31 have died. The state has tested more than 1 lakh samples for COVID-19 so far.
Moving on, more than 6,000 Indians have been flown back to India, and 31 inbound flights operated by Air India in the last 5 days. Repatriation began on May 7th. With repatriation flights in full swing, the Indian Medical Association has asked swab tests to be conducted on arriving passengers instead of the thermal screening. In a letter to the Maharashtra CM, the association said that the thermal screenings should be discarded as it is not a reliable method for screening. Meantime, the return of workers to their hometowns in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar has sparked fears about a wider prevalence of the infection in districts which had until now been free of COVID-19. Until April 14th, Bihar was one of the least coronavirus affected states with 66 positive cases out of 13 crore population. On May 10th, the number of COVID-19 patients stood, however, at 761, with cases spiking in the last 1 month. In Uttar Pradesh, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state has increased from 2,998 to over 3,600 in the past 6 days. A large number of migrant workers have arrived in the state during the same time. As many as 67 of the 75 districts in the state had been affected by the virus, according to officials, although the migrant workers were being screened after arriving at the railway stations and before being allowed to board buses for their native towns and villages. Many among them have tested positive now. Meanwhile, Karnataka expects to receive nearly 50,000 travelers in the next few weeks, and while quarantining facilities are ready for international passengers, the city authorities don't seem to have a quarantining plan ready for those arriving in trains. The first group of over 1,200 people on a Rajdhani train on Thursday, and all asymptomatic new arrivals would require to be placed under mandatory quarantine for 14 days. While government facilities such as hostels and schools will be turned into quarantine facilities, the uncertainty about the number of people expected is making things difficult for those making the plan. Since many are expected to return to their homes, authorities are also considering using a seal to stamp the new arrivals, followed by 14 days of home quarantine. Since the relaxation of the lockdown restrictions on May 4th, the state has seen a sharp doubling of cases, with 101 out of 310 reported cases so far being out-of-state travelers who have tested positive after arrival in Karnataka. As the numbers of COVID-19 cases continue to rise across the country, the Health Ministry has decided to conduct a population-based serosurvey in select districts across the country. A serosurvey involves testing of the blood serum of a group of individuals at the district level. This will help health authorities assess the extent to which COVID-19 infections have spread throughout the country undetected. However, the results of the sample pooling is only for surveillance purposes and will not be used for diagnoses of individual patients. Moving on, doctors from Delhi civic hospitals have written to the Prime Minister threatening to resign en masse as their salaries have not been paid for the past 3 months, unless the situation is resolved soon. That's what their demand is. The medical staff says that it is working under highly stressful conditions due to the pandemic. The CPIM-affiliated Centre of Indian Trade Unions will observe Thursday as Demands Day for safety of COVID-19 frontline workers, saying symbolic gestures will only end up in pseudo-satisfaction. The demands include utilizing the PM CARES Fund for providing safety gear for all frontline workers, personal protection equipment for those engaged in containment areas and red zones, and frequent and random-free COVID-19 tests for all frontline workers.
In news from Karnataka, IS officer P. Manivannan has been appointed as Secretary Animal Husbandry and Fisheries amid a social media backlash seeking his reinstatement at the Labour Department. He had been removed from his post of Principal Secretary yesterday. His transfer comes days after the Karnataka Employers Association filed a complaint with the Chief Minister, B.S. Yadurappa, to change the leadership in the Labour Department. The complaint letter said that Manivannan had actively encouraged workers to register their complaints regarding non-payment of wages or retrenchment and assured workers about strict action against employers. Following the open call by P. Manivannan as Labour Secretary, more than 700 workers had reportedly filed complaints. As the economic condition in the state worsens, the state government may find no other option but to deduct salaries of government employees. However, decision regarding this remains to be taken. The problem is made worse as the centre has also not announced any revenue deficit grants to Karnataka. While the government has an option to borrow from the market to pay salaries, it is not keen to do so as it will have to pay a high rate of interest. The government gets most of its revenue from stamps and registrations and motor vehicle taxes, which is not likely to pick up until purchasing power of the consumer is restored. The state government is likely to announce another relief package for those who were not included in the one announced earlier in this month by Chief Minister B.S. Yadurappa. Discussions were held on Tuesday to mobilize revenue and identify those in dire need of assistance during the lockdown. However, former Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has blamed the government for not thinking through the details while announcing the relief package. Questioning the relief to auto drivers, he asked how those who do not own autos will claim relief considering they rent autos.
And before we go, with supplies of N95 masks running low, thousands of healthcare workers in the city have been wearing paper-thin surgical masks for a modicum of protection against the coronavirus. Now, Associate Professors Kaushik Chatterjee and Surya Sarathi Bose, along with 3 PhD students from the Indian Institute of Science, say that they've developed a new low-cost virucidal composite mask. The new mask, which is set to offer protection on par with the N95, comes with a modified polyester fabric with hydrophobic qualities to deflect water droplets containing the virus. And at the heart of the system is a nanofibrous membrane made up of positively charged polymers to kill bacterial and viral agents. The IISc team said that it will transfer the technology to interested manufacturers. That's all from Suraksha Me today. For the latest updates, log on to DeccanHerald.com. In the meantime, stay safe and we'll see you tomorrow.